discuss all sorts of issues, including the elephant in the room. Now, I want to make sure that we all understand that this is going to be a collective effort. I am one person who has tried to do my little part in helping you all become prepared so that between us all, we can actually get this thing done. Now, I want to give you all a little bit of encouragement because when we started fighting the mask mandate for COVID, there were 10 of us around a dining room table. That was it. Look at this. This is awesome. All right, so with that said, let's get it out there right away, and that is a lot of people, virtually everybody that has come to me, has said we don't want a particular worldview in our community that is diametrically opposed to us. Right? Let's acknowledge that. Now, let's acknowledge also that we have a Constitution, and the Constitution does have some things in it, like freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and so forth. We have to be in line with that as well. We can't expect them to be in line if we're not in line ourselves, can we? Now, with that said, there's been a lot of things, and I encourage you to go to the Facebook page where this whole thing began, Constitutional Grounds, and look at the comments that are in there. They look like every lefty type of comment you might have ever seen. Now, please forgive me because this is not a political meeting. This is not left or right or anything like that. But what you have is you have the tyrants out there who want to bash your head in with whatever right they deem themselves to have. And I think that is very much at the base of what we all feel here. The only way I found out about this is because somebody called me who had seen a sign put up only because the law required it, and before that they had never heard a word. Right? Now, we've seen this before. We saw this just a year or two ago for Bell's Amusement Park on the other side of town. Right? And it was the same thing. All of a sudden, everybody was shocked. It didn't have anything to do with their religion. It had to do with being a good neighbor. What makes us Americans together? What got us through COVID? We got along. You can go to the store and not wear a mask, and you know what? People generally left you alone. We can go about our lives, and as long as what we do isn't actually harming or interfering or violating somebody else's rights, we should all be able to get along. So ultimately, the concern is that's not what is going on with the proponents. In reality, it's hidden and so forth. The problem is that's a really hard argument to make, isn't it? Well, we might think so, but it's very hard when you come to the requirements of the city council. It's very hard to make. But we can win this just on the merits of the property itself. And that's what I'm hoping we can talk about. Now, this is not, I am not up here saying, don't talk about what makes you feel good or you need to get off your chest. Not saying that whatsoever. What I'm encouraging is that we start with the things the city council has expressly asked us to talk about. They have expressly asked us to talk about those issues. They want to hear from us on the physical use issues. Okay? So we're going to organize for that because here's the way it works in city council. Christy can back me up on this. Each and every one of us gets 3 minutes total. Okay? If we wanted to pool everything together, I think we get a total of 15 minutes, 10 or 15. I think it's 10 minutes, and then another 5 minutes if the mayor so chose. to allow it. That's for all of us. Okay? So we don't want that. We want everybody to get their 3 minutes. The Planning Commission meeting took 4.5 hours. Okay? It was 3.5 hours of actual testimony that went on. I expect more on Monday. So with that said, what we need to do is we're going to organize here in a little bit. I'm going to bring Christy up in a minute. Just want to mention one other thing. And that is with all these comments on social media. These comments are, y'all hate brown people. Somebody actually said that. The only reason you're against this is you hate brown people. I won't even dignify that with response. You're Islamophobes or whatever. The point is, or you want to violate the Constitution. I founded an organization to promote the Constitution for people who were ignoring it. Hello. So with that said, let's deal with their arguments. No rights of any kind, including religious, can violate the rights of another or infringe on the rights of another. So when we talk about these physical things, we're talking about pollution, traffic congestion, plans that other people have had for a very long time that could be all tossed asunder. Those are real rights violations or rights concerns that zoning is meant to address. We've all heard the term that a fence makes a good neighbor. Well, so does zoning. That's the idea when it's done properly. That is our message to everybody else. Now, I have not met one single person, no matter your religious viewpoint, that has ever said, I don't want them bowing 5 times a day and saying their prayers. I don't want them to be able to be allowed to practice their religion. Not one person that I have met has ever said anything like that. That would be a violation of the Constitution. Nobody has said that. I don't expect anybody that will be saying that. That is the real violation. Just because you have a right does not mean you can use that as a bludgeon to get whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, wherever you want. And that's every single one. So if we agree that we're going to be good neighbors to each other, we're going to be good neighbors to anybody that comes in, we expect the same in return, then I think we've got everything we need to form our thoughts and actually win this on Monday. With that, I'd like to bring up Christy, our former deputy mayor, who's going to help us understand the planning process and some of the things and some of her arguments that she actually argued before the city council. And then we're going to get to some other things before we actually open it up to all of you. We have some good speakers out in the audience, and we want to make sure everybody has a chance to get heard if you